Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Spurs Up. No guest on this week, but we're here as always. I'm Connor Lomas. Alongside me is Nick Kloss, and we have both women's soccer and football coming up this week in athletics, as men's soccer finishes their season at 2-2, with their final game being canceled as people within the UAB program tested positive for COVID-19. Nick, it's unfortunate to see the men's soccer season come to an end as it did, but we got women's soccer coming up, so let's dive into it. What do you expect to see?
Yeah, women's soccer coming off of a stunning victory at Arkansas. Arkansas, the number 3 ranked team in the nation. This was women's soccer's highest ranked victory since they beat UNC Chapel Hill in 2007. Then they were number 1 ranked. Now Arkansas number 3. A great team win, coming led by senior Samantha Chang, who just stacked up the accolades on this week, being a National Player of the Week, as well as SEC Offensive Player of the Week, as well as Karina Zulo getting her first goal as a freshman. Overall, just a great win for the South Carolina Gamecocks women's soccer team.
No doubt about it. Samantha coming in with a lot of awards, as you just said, playing excellent offensive soccer. As being a midfielder, having to move along the field, it's great to see her doing what she's doing. Playing Florida this Saturday. Florida's coming off a 2-game losing streak. Actually lost to Vandy, who the Gamecocks beat, so that's definitely a solid. The Gamecocks are going in with a little bit of confidence on the offensive side of the ball. As we see here, the Gamecocks are on that 4-game win streak, open the season with a loss to Georgia, have not lost since. Offensively, it's taken off. 2+ goals in every game except against Kentucky. So we'll see this women's soccer team really look to push forward early in that game against Florida, because that will be a tough one.
Yeah, they'll just need to stay persistent. The one thing is Karina Zulo, opened up that scoring versus Arkansas. They allowed Arkansas to get back into it in the second half, tie it up, make it probably a closer game than they wanted. But as the women's soccer coach said, they really pushed. They played a team game, and they just believed in themselves. That was their biggest thing, is in these ranked games, you have to believe that even though Gamecocks ranked number 15, Arkansas number 3, they believed in themselves. They'll have to keep that momentum going into Florida, especially riding that 4-game win streak.
No doubt about it. So women's soccer coming up this Sunday. Next up on our list, football. Love to talk about it. Love to hear it. Auburn coming into USC this past weekend, 15th. First time USC has won since 1933 against an Auburn team. Unbelievable stat there. Can't believe it. But, man, what are your initial thoughts coming in off that game?
Just a huge win for the Gamecocks. Just beating a ranked opponent is always huge, especially when it's Auburn. The first time the Gamecocks have beat Auburn since 1933. Just an unbelievable achievement for this Gamecock squad. So it was just an exciting time for all Gamecocks fans to have that win under their belt, coming from a great defensive performance by J.C. Horn with 2 interceptions, and overall the whole South Carolina defense. Everyone really played their part, able to get a tough win against Auburn at home.
No doubt about it. J.C. Horn, like you just said, National Defensive Player of the Year this week. Outstanding football. The secondary in general for South Carolina was really incredible, and J.C. Horn playing against Seth Williams, which could very well be one of the best receivers that we know in college football right now, a deep threat constantly, and he really locked him down. 2 picks against Bo Nix, who did throw another. Bo Nix had a little bit of an off game, so we could expect to see apparently a couple quarterbacks on the LSU side coming up this weekend. So it would be interesting to see how the Gamecocks bounce back after seeing a decent performance from a quarterback in Bo Nix and really playing him well.
Yeah, Miles Brennan, the LSU's starting quarterback this past couple of weeks, is projected to not play this coming game due to significant lower body injuries. So we'll have to see. USC looks to prepare for possibly a different quarterback, possibly 2 different quarterbacks, as they don't really have a consistent backup right there. Coming off the Joe Burrow year, Miles Brennan stepped in, take that starting role. Other than that, they're looking weak at that quarterback position. So USC's defense is going to have to prepare this week for whatever is coming at them. But a big thing is for USC's offense, LSU's defense has allowed Mississippi State and Missouri to put up big numbers, which is not what you saw from them in their national championship run back in 2019. So we need to look at Colin Hill, Shi Smith, and Kevin Harris to really get the ball rolling for this Gamecock squad against LSU and put this defense to the test, as they have not shown up to the bar they are used to.
No doubt about it. Shi Smith, looking to see a big game from him. Had an incredible catch in the end zone, and not to mention another one that really sealed the game for the Gamecocks late. And we will look to see how they do against LSU. LSU coming off of a loss against Missouri, had a game postponed against Florida with all the craziness happening. Number 10 Florida, so it would have been nice to see what they were doing. But Vandy looking at LSU's only win of the season. USC obviously beating Vandy by a significant margin as well. So it'll be nice to see the LSU-South Carolina matchup. LSU playing a little bit, I guess, less than they people expected them to, but that's expected with players like Joe Burrow leaving your team, Justin Jefferson. You're losing so many weapons on that offensive side, and we see the quarterback controversies and issues that they have been having. So it will definitely be a game of, I think, a lot more offense than we'd expect. Hopefully more from the USC side. Colin Hill playing pretty well last game. Really being a game manager, sitting in the pocket as long as he could, dumping down when he had to, and finding Shi Smith, who he's going to need to find consistently against LSU.
Everyone has been talking about that Colin Hill-Shi Smith connection, which cannot be overlooked. Shi Smith having 3 games of over 10 receptions with a touchdown in 3 of 4 games. So he is playing fantastic, by far USC's best receiver. Colin Hill just competing. He's always putting the Gamecocks in a situation where they can win. They can come out and win. But I think the offensive MVP for this Gamecocks team is easily Kevin Harris from the backfield for the Gamecocks, putting up 409 yards, 6 TDs so far with a 5-yard average. When we run the ball, that is when the Gamecocks have the best chance of winning the game. Colin Hill and Shi Smith obviously connected well in that Auburn game, but if you saw against Florida, the only way that offense was moving was through Kevin Harris. So I definitely look to see how Kevin Harris does against what used to be a very talented LSU defense. And usually when you think of that Coach O defense, you're thinking that's a hard-hitting defense, not many points are going to be scored this game. That has not been proven now, so let's see how Kevin Harris can run it up against the LSU.
Yeah, defense. Kevin Harris with a 79-yard touchdown getting called back very early on in the Auburn game due to a holding penalty. And that offensive line, speaking of holding, will really need to stay sturdy against that LSU front line and protect Colin Hill, as Colin Hill is a pocket passer, a proven pocket passer, so they will need to make sure that he is protected in order for them to get points on the board. And, of course, that South Carolina defense looking to play well, and Will Muschamp in a press conference after the game saying that he doesn't think there is a better corner than J.C. Horn right now in college football, and it's definitely something that could be agreed on.
Yeah, he very well could be right. Just one of the best corners possible first round in the next NFL draft. But the defense, Gamecock defense hasn't shown anything too special. Obviously a great game versus Auburn, but nothing crazy, but the defense is doing enough to get off the field and let their offense work, which has resulted in the last 2 wins that they have had versus Vanderbilt and then Auburn. So they have been doing what they've had to do. They actually lead the SEC in 3rd down conversions, which helps them control the tempo of the game enough to get wins. And that's what we'll need to see versus LSU. Just get stops, get off the field, let Colin Hill work the offense, and let's see if the Gamecocks can get a win versus LSU.
And we will see if the Gamecocks can get a win versus LSU, and we'll see how the women's soccer team matches up against Florida as well upcoming this weekend. That's all we got for you guys here on the show, and as always, South Carolina will be back next week, and Spurs up.